You open your eyes to the sound of faint church bells echoing across a quiet valley. The air is cold, colder than you expected. A thin beam of pale sunlight leaks through the cracks in the wooden shutters. The smell of wood smoke and damp straw fills your nose. You're not in your bed. You're lying on a lumpy straw mattress, covered with a coarse wool blanket that feels scratchy against your skin. Somewhere in the corner, you hear the gentle clucking of a chicken and the muffled sound of someone moving about downstairs. You've woken up in medieval times. The morning in a medieval village. It's early. The bells you heard are the matins bells, the first call to prayer of the day. For most people in the village, this is the start of another long, ordinary day. The small wooden house is dim and drafty. Walls are made from wattle and daub, a mix of mud, straw, and sticks, and they don't do much to keep the cold out. You sit up and notice there's no glass in the windows, just a wooden shutter to keep the wind away. You reach for your shoes, but instead, you find rough leather boots with thick laces. They smell of earth and livestock. If you lived here, you wouldn't have much choice in clothing. Your tunic would be made of undyed wool, your hose patched in several places. The medieval world wasn't about fashion for most people. Clothes were expensive, and you'd wear them until they literally fell apart. Downstairs, the single main room of the house is already busy. There's a central hearth with a pot hanging above the fire. This is where meals are cooked, light is given, and warmth, however faint, is shared. The smell today is of yesterday's pottage, a thick vegetable stew, sometimes with beans, barley, or if you're lucky, a bit of meat. But meat isn't common here. Your host, perhaps a farmer's wife, is already awake, stirring the pot. She nods to you without much ceremony. There are chores to be done. Everyone has a role, and there's no such thing as time off unless you're sick, and even then, you'd better recover quickly. Stepping outside. When you step outside, the cold air bites your face. The village is quiet except for the sound of roosters crowing and a few early risers tending to their animals. Houses here are small, clustered together around a muddy path that serves as the village's main road. Puddles have frozen overnight, and your breath hangs in the air. You can see smoke rising from a handful of chimneys, twisting up into the gray morning sky. In the distance, the church stands tall, the only stone building for miles. Its bell tower is the reason you woke so early. Life in a medieval village moves to the rhythm of the church bells. They tell you when to pray, when to work, and when to rest. And though your body might still be yearning for the warmth of bed, here, the day waits for no one. Daily work. By mid-morning, the village is awake. Children run errands, carrying water from the well in heavy wooden buckets. Men and older boys head to the fields, carrying simple tools, hoes, sickles, and spades. If it's spring or summer, planting or harvesting fills the hours. In winter, tasks shift to repairing tools, mending roofs, and preparing for the next planting season. Women spin wool, weave cloth, bake bread, and tend to small gardens behind houses. Bread here is coarse, dark, and heavy, nothing like the soft, white bread of modern times. Flour is often mixed with ground beans or peas to make it stretch further. Sometimes, it's gritty from bits of stone left after milling. You notice that everyone works with a steady rhythm. There's no rush, but no laziness either. In a medieval village, survival depends on shared effort. If someone fails to do their part, the whole community suffers. Midday. By midday, the church bell rings again, this time for sext, the midday prayer. It's also when people take their main meal of the day. Your host ladles pottage into wooden bowls, along with a chunk of dark bread. You sit by the fire, the heat finally soaking into your cold hands. There's no sugar here, no coffee, no tea. The drink on the table is weak ale brewed at home. Even children drink it because the water from the well isn't always safe. The ale is low in alcohol, just enough to kill off the worst of the bacteria. The conversation is simple. News travels slowly here, and most of it comes from travelers passing through, or from the market in the nearest town, which might be several days' walk away. The afternoon. The afternoon passes quietly. You follow the villagers to the fields, where the land stretches out in strips. Each family tends to their own section, but the work is shared: plowing, sowing, weeding. If you were here in harvest season, you'd see the entire village working side by side, gathering crops before the weather turns. There's a sense of peace to it, but also a heaviness. In the medieval world, nature decides everything. A bad harvest means hunger. A harsh winter can take lives. And there's no modern medicine to fall back on. A simple infection can be deadly. Evening. As the sun dips low, the bell rings for vespers, the evening prayer. People head back to their homes, and smoke once again rises from the chimneys. Dinner is simple, usually more pottage, maybe with fresh bread if it's been baking day. If someone in the village has hunted successfully, there might be a small feast, but that's rare. Candles are precious, so the evening light comes mostly from the fire. Shadows dance on the walls, and conversations are quiet. Stories are told, prayers are said, and gradually, the village settles into stillness. Night in the medieval world. Night here is truly dark. Without streetlights, without the hum of distant cars or cities, the quiet feels almost absolute. The stars shine brilliantly above, and the air carries the faint smell of wood smoke and damp earth. You return to your straw mattress, pulling the rough wool blanket tight. Somewhere outside, a dog barks. Far away, the bell rings one last time for Compline, the final prayer of the day. The fire's glow fades, and the cold slowly seeps in. You close your eyes, and the last thought before sleep is a simple one. In this world, every day is hard, but every day is also shared. In its own way, that makes it beautiful.